Everybody, welcome back to Wargaming.net Gold League. I'm Clutch, joined the set by Rukill, and we are about to start match number 2 of Game Over versus Pub Stars. We'll jump into a face-off with them when we're ready. Game Over is a team that is representing the Portuguese speakers. They're coming out of Brazil. They lost in the playoffs, which was unfortunate, but it was very close.
Yeah.
And a good performance for them for their first season, last season in the Gold League.
Yeah, I really liked the way they stood. It was even though they lost, they looked strong. And they've had a long break now. They had to watch the finals. Now, I don't know who they were practicing up against, but I hear that they are practicing against the top 8 teams a lot. So they're a solid team. I'm expecting improvement. Have you heard anything, Clutch?
I haven't heard anything from Game Over, and that's why I'm looking forward to seeing how they have been doing over the break for their training. I haven't heard anything from the Pub Stars either. It feels like both these guys went to their team caves.
Well, I was checking out the
hibernating.
chat, and I did see Rella show up. So Rella is at the very least watching, and he's
cool.
a member of Pub Stars. I love you, Rella.
Right on.
We were battle buddies back in Wreak Havoc
Back
for a
in the
long
day.
time. Back in the day.
Back in
So
the
we
day.
go way back, and he's just a cool dude. You met him in at Vegas. He was he's big fluffy hair, handsome face, looks like a model.
It sounds like most of the players that play World of Tanks.
Yeah,
at least
they're
for
just
the pro
handsome
scene.
people. It's just what we do.
That's why we had them in those promo videos, as you saw. They could stand toe-to-toe with the female tank girls that we had.
Especially Relics.
Especially Relics. Especially Relics. All right, guys. Face-off is ready. Game Over versus Pub Stars. Gentlemen, welcome to Season 3 of the Gold League. Good to see you.
Hey, thanks.
Hey there.
Good to be here.
I think they just heard what we were talking about.
Yankee, we had a good time in Vegas last time we were hanging out. You're here
We
for
had
the
a great
Pub
time.
Stars. Great to have you back. Pub Stars again. You guys, you have that, I don't want to say an outsider attitude, but your guys' attitude is different, reflecting kind of Simp and Fulcrum Gaming. Those guys have kind of that serious top-tier attitude. You guys have the individual star power, and when you come together as a team, we see some great things, and then we see some things that could be a lot better. How is Pub Stars changed themselves, or kind of modified themselves, or made themselves better for Season 3?
Well, I think some of the problems we had last year might have come from a little bit of over-aggression in certain situations, perhaps some overconfidence. So we may dial that back a little bit this season. But you know, the aggression has been the sort of thing that's paid off for us in the past. So it'll just be interesting to see with the new tanks in this season. We're just looking forward to getting started here tonight.
Kick G Master from Game Over, representing the Portuguese speakers. Great to have you back. You guys were really close to making it to Vegas. Unfortunately, weren't able to make it. That must have been crushing for you, but what's it like now being back in Season 3? Are you ready to prove you can make it to the top 8?
Oh yeah, definitely. We've been training a lot. We changed it. 2 guys from our team to hopefully we're going to improve now. We have improved our tactics. We've improved our way to play. So hopefully we're going to have a better season now.
Well, this is going to be the first matchup for both of you guys for Season 3. Game Over, Gig G Master, you have any words for Pub Stars before we start this off?
Here we go again. So let's see what's going to happen now. Last time we lost for you, so let's see now. Good luck.
Yankee, any response?
Yeah, that was last time, although, you know, in Clan Wars, you kind of tripped us up a little bit there in the campaign this season, so a little payback coming tonight, hopefully. So we'll see, and good luck to you.
Yeah, there we go.
Yankee, you have the higher seed for Pub Stars. Heads or tails on the coin flip?
Heads, please.
Heads will be the call, and the flip is heads. Will you choose the map or defer?
We will defer.
Defer. Game Over. What will be your map choice?
Let's start with Himmelsdorf.
Himmelsdorf will be the first map. Pub Stars, where will be your spawn position?
1 second, double checking.
No
South,
problem.
please.
Conferring with the team.
South, please.
South will be Pub Stars. To the north, Game Over on Himmelsdorf. Gentlemen, good to see you. Welcome back to the Gold League, and best of luck.
Thank
Thanks
you.
so much.
All right, there we go. Himmelsdorf, first map. And we actually see this. I think this is the map that is chosen first most in any other map
Almost everyone plays it.
for
Like
Season
at
2
least
and
once.
now Season 3, yeah.
Yeah, we see it in almost every matchup. I'm not quite sure, just because I don't like it as much. I think they like it because they can start a brawl really easily. It's one of those maps where if you just get in close, you can start a real brawl, and there's a lot of tactical play. You start the counter flanks going on, and yeah, it's cool like that. But I'm a bigger fan of an open map. So I don't know what I don't agree with that choice as much. But what do you think, Clutch?
I like what these teams are bringing to Himmelsdorf with the courtyard play. Because when we were watching Season 1 and we saw the Cazadores go across the courtyard for the first time, we thought, what is happening? This is not what people do.
Yeah.
And it didn't work for them as well in that scenario, but I thought, wait a second. If this is always declared a no man's land of a no one ever goes there type of position for the map, that means that it hasn't been figured out yet, at least for the 7x42.
Well, it used to be that you covered it all the time, and that's why it was a no man's land. It was a bad idea because they were always watching, but the meta evolved.
It did, and Artie was not really play, but if it was, it'd usually be over to the western side, and the openings would be kind of a counter hill play, but also the courtyard would be open because you would scout around it. But because the Artie changes happened, we don't have Artie really in group play. It allowed for those tanks to use that cover on the northern or southern approaches. A lot of what I'm seeing is south to north. Next to those buildings, they're staying away from the hillside unless they move closer into that central area. And where the T1 was, I believe it was Foster Kid, was a great place because he could see, is anybody going to move around for a reposition? Is the tank alley going to be open? It was completely open for his team to move in. They did move in. Unfortunately, they got cut off because the way northern approach was completely open.
Yeah, just it's really cool tactically like that, just like you're talking about. But it is just probably one of the most dynamic as far as strategies, if you come to think of it. Actually,
Would you
see
think
strats like that? But you also see one. You can see a push almost anywhere on the map.
Would you think the map would be better without having the hill? If they took the hill away?
No, the hill adds a weird dynamic. You get some really cool cross shots. You paid to use it because you have to stick someone up there and they're a little bit out of position if people are down below. But you get these cool shots and it counters out the courtyard. Like if you can spot people down in the courtyard, they cross the open courtyard. You've got these great shots right down into them. And if you can do that, yeah, that's pretty good. That's a solid position. But you can get capped out really fast if you put too many people up there. There's a lot of pros and cons. There's a lot of pros and cons to most positions. But to
me, it's the wild card of the map. It's one of the biggest wild cards of all the maps that we have in the map pool because it takes a long time to get up there relative to moving down one of the alleys on Himmelsdorf. And that can trip up some opponents. That can trip up some people because you can do a lot of fakes with those T1s. And if they see one of the heavies, that is huge information for the team that spots it. But if you have a T1 push across and they're thinking, guys, this is going to be a gamble, but they're only going to bring one T1 to cover the hill. Let's push our T1 close, and if he wins the T1 fight, that is going to be an opening for one of the heavies to move or nothing to move, and that's going to make the enemy team be way more cautious because they can think that's going to be completely open for the heavy tanks. Well, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break as we get this game set up between Game Over and the Pub Stars. I want to remind everyone to please tweet at us at WGLNA. Show us the one tank you can't live without. Hashtag no cons, and we'll give out some more codes. Stay tuned. The Gold League continues after this. Welcome back to the Wargaming.net Gold League for North America. I'm Joshua Clutch Gray, joined on the set by Randall Holcomb. And now it's time, finally, guys. We're running a little bit behind. We do apologize about that, but it's time for match number 2. Game Over versus the Pub Stars. Map number 1's on Himmelsdorf. What do we have for tanks?
Taking a look at those, we got a 110, 3 5100s, and an IS-3. It's a lot of 5100s, 2 5100s, and 3 IS-3s for the side of Pubstars. In the blue, it is game over.
Extreme Gandorfo nip 10 on the side of game over. These guys are going to have to be swift with their shots and falling back correctly, with the 110 and the IS-3 being in the lead. Where the IS-3s, Rela, Zevin, and Independent, if they can bounce a couple shots or miss a couple shots from these 5100s, after that first drum reload, they can be in a really good position to get that consistent fire in.
Yeah, the 110 is a great consistent fire tank. I'm really starting to like it a lot more. It complements the composition of bringing a lot of IS-3s and 5100s. It's that good medium ground that you're looking for, and it works as the finisher in this case. Because the T-69 was the finisher with 300 heat pen, but after it got nerfed down to 250 heat pen, that's 250 millimeters of armor, it didn't perform that well against IS-3s. It just didn't. It fell short a lot of the time. So it had to be replaced. And a stronger tank to bring is, of course, the 110. It has more hit points. It's 50 more only than the IS-3, but 50 more can really help. And when you have the T-69, you have a lot less hit points. It's a lot more fragile of a tank. So the pros are really in favor of the 110.
Independent in the IS-3, cruising across next to some of the rubble here. Not seeing anything down the D line. And one of the T1s is going to be cruising down from north to south from game over in the blue. And he's not going to spot anything yet because no tanks are on that side. Independent, teammate of Pubstars that has been on 2 teams so far. And the
who was he on season 1?
Nerve?
Yeah, I think that's right. He was on Nerve. And he ended up leaving that team, along with, I think, a lot of people, really.
It was a change up for some of these teams in the roster changes.
And he, of course, went to Pubstars. He wasn't too happy, of course, after they lost. He was really, he's one of those guys that's really passionate about World of Tanks.
So when he gets quiet, you know he's angry.
Oh, yeah.
I think.
Yeah, he was really quiet after they lost in the finals out there. He's one of those people that really cares, puts in a lot of time and practice in the game.
Rel in the IS-3 is going to be looking down the tank alley section. Nothing's going to be spotted yet. A standstill between the 2 teams here. Hill Play is going to be going to one of the T1s. Is that Miserable? No, he is going to be calling the game, I believe. Well, Yankee in the T1 is going to be at the hillside. And one of the heavies, is that Marsh 166? No, he's in the 5100. It's going to be Captain No Pants is going to be coming up the hill in the 5100. And they're going to be uncontested as they get to the top. And that could leave them into a really good position if they go all the way down that hill.
But there's nothing else on that hill. The west side has been taken up by game over. So they're just kind of laying them out in the northwest part, really defensive, really far back. There's a little pinging going on. They know the approach that their opponent's going to look for, and Tanking Daka is watching that way. He's in a little hold-down position in his 110, really sharply angled with part of his Shuka. A little other part could kind of catch some shells, but, oh, they're actually going to roll out now. Where to is the question. 110 kind of going for it. I guess he's going to start checking for that approach. This is a part of the approach that is considered probably optimal to begin the engagement. What you can do is you can catch out this 110, and it's risky. It's risky to spot down that Delta road. Now he's actually going to go do more scouting. They're scouting with a 110, which is a bit strange. Doesn't have the best view range, but of course, out of the 5100, the IS-3.
It's got better armor than an than a T1 for sure.
Oh, sure, certainly. So I guess it does make a decent scout in that respect.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, they're just going to move everyone up behind this. So you've got 5100s, IS-3s taking them.
And this is what I was talking about earlier, Randall, is because the 5100 Captain No Pants is all the way on the hill. This could be very advantageous for a western push from game over. He's going to take some time to move from his position to help in the firefight. But the spread of Pubstars is way over to Tank Alley, and they're going to move across the courtyard while the T1 battle is going to happen for Miserable and Gig Master.
Yeah. With some heavy support there, Miserable is out of position, but because of that spotting and the delay that Miserable's position has caused, Pubstars are going to be able to push up the 8 line. They're up Tank Alley. They're going towards their opponent's base, and Game Over is not in position right now to return, and they're not prepared for this.
Miserable fires at a Gig Master, but it's a miss, and Miserable falls to Gig Master in the T1. and that is going to allow the rest of those heavy tanks to move to the south, a huge opening. But who is back there? It looks like it's Robal in the T1 that's going to stay to scout that area, as Rel in the IS-3 is the point man for the tank alley push. However, he's not going all the way to the north, because they got a feeling of, hey, our T1 just fell, guys, and we're not seeing any information on our side. They've got to be west. We have to fall back.
Yep. If they'd stayed in the north, they would have lost to a cap out, because almost every single tank for Game Over is in the south right now. And they actually have a chance here to get a T1 on cap, shield it, and then screen the cap. Game Over has... They have lethal right now. They have the ability to win this battle. They just have to be aggressive enough about it.
And Rel in the IS-3 getting a little bit closer here next to Marsh 166, that 5100. He's going to push across because it is open. And now with the flag cap, with 2 on it so far, leaving it 42 seconds for them to stop it, it's going to be Yankee, and the T1's going to scout him first.
Tanky Daka will also shield along with Rafa Beta. Gigmaster, they're hoping he will be the one to get it. Oh, good shot. Killing Yankee means a whole lot for their team, as Rella is spotted. Shots maybe going out in a minute. No connections on Rella. Rella returns fire, but no connections onto Nip.
Game Over has the advantage of 5 seconds left. Zevin shoots the IS-3, but the 5100s move just in time to block the shot. And the base has been captured. Multiple fire happening, does not reset, and that's going to be a battle win for Game Over.
Well done by Game Over. They saw their opportunity. They knew their opponent was out of position, and they capitalized on it. Very easy cap victory. And just Pubstars not being in position, not having that contingency where they needed to go back to cap. After losing Miserable, it should have been a full return or a full dedication to their opponent's cap. That
screen was great because it doesn't come down to damage being dealt, it's damage being received to block those shots. Those 5100s moved across the way as the IS-3s poked out. Very nice play, very heads-up play from Game Over, and that's going to score them a victory. And I think that there was more damage dealt total for
Game Over.
It looks like Game Over. Yes, they actually did more damage because of the destruction.
What's the lineup there?
Well, everyone was alive, obviously, but Extreme did 3 for 4. Rafa did 1 for 1, and the other 5100 was 1 for 2. 1 for 1 for the 110. So this is a very low damage firefight.
Of course, because it's a cap.
Because it's a cap, but it's the absorption of that fire, of blocking those shots that I said earlier that allowed.
Yeah, the 110.
It's very impressive. I'm impressed by it.
Yeah, the 5100s probably were the big part. We saw them a little bit north of the 110, the IS-3, and the T1 Cunningham on cap. They did a really solid job of getting in the way. And I think if they hadn't done that, we might have been able to see a reset. Pubstars may have been able from that to bring it back, maybe get the kills they needed, but that T1 Cunningham on cap was really well protected. I don't know if we'd see another Pubstar cinch, because you remember Rella in a T69, I think last season, made this really cool last-second save. He didn't even get to see the tank he fired at. He just went around the corner on that same position where the 110 and the IS-3 were, and he just made a shot in the T69, saved the battle. Pubstars won that. It was intense. We didn't get to see that again. No T69, Rella's in an IS-3, not fast enough, couldn't do it.
The most prominent memory I have of Pubstars was on a map called Cliff, where one of the 1390s on the opposite team was wedged on the side of the cliff. There was no way he could get out, and so they go to Goomba him with an Object 416. A Goomba means your tank lands on top of another tank from a higher position.
I mean, everyone played Mario.
He lands on the 1390 and slides off into the water, perishes. The other fight happening to the north goes to the enemy team, and they're able to win it. Very funny.
The sounds of the game of that is perfect, by the way. It is hilarious.
It is. Well, we need to play it. We need to play it again for Season 3.
Yeah.
We have a lot of stuff we can still play from the history of these different teams.
Yeah. Well, they're going to actually head off to Mines for battle number 2.
Great. I predict there's going to be some serious water play coming out of Game Over from the north side.
Yeah. Oh, I think Game Over's on the
Game Over's on the south side, actually.
So
I don't think there's going to be water play coming out of Pubstars. But if Game Over did take the north side, I would predict they would use a lot more water play. Cazadores would do the same thing on Mines if they did spawn.
They really love playing the west side of that. I'm thinking I might like some east side play just a little bit with 1390 early game.
He's coming over to the
I'm
dark
coming.
side.
Well, just the recent change. I think you could make a shorter, faster route to blitz the east side.
Okay. Let's go ahead and jump into game number 2, guys. It's on Mines. Game over versus Pub Stars.
And as we take a look at the tanks, there is a 5100, a T-32, Pershing T-69, and a 1390 for the side of Game Over. On the other side, Pub Stars has brought a Pershing, a T-69, and 3 1390s. So I think we're going to see Pub Stars take the hill. Game Over is going to be forced to respect that hill heavily because of their lineup. Something probably defensive, very defensive out of Game Over is what we're going to look to see.
T-32 by tanking Dhaka. The approach usually is going to be right up that 4-5 line, getting close. And these tanks are going to move very quickly here. Where's the spread going to happen? 1, that's going to be the T1, Yankee. It's going to go over to the east. It's Captain No Pants is going to be in the center. WZ-132 is not on the map, it looks like. And that means this could be a 1390 push into each other.
Nip makes, it looked like he was about to go up to the hill for a second. I was so afraid for him. But he does take a left instead of a right, knowing what was coming. And he's able to get out alive. But there's a Pershing, Rafa Beta, kind of in a really far forward position. Miserable's going to be proxy spotting. Oh, Zevin attempts to make his way up to the hill, but he gets shut down. Tanking Dhaka and Extreme are watching that approach. They're in position for this. Zevin, don't go up. You're going to get shot. It's not worth it, man. And shots will go out. He's actually in a bit of a hull down next to where Rafa Beta is. He has that high ground, and with that, it's easier to get a hull down position on your opponent. You've got gun depression, and he's able to juke.
He is juking those shots from that T-69 and that T-32. Rafa Beta, though, is trying to bait Zevin to get a little farther closer, or a little farther closer, a little further closer, so he can get a shot on him on his hull or right below his turret. Sometimes you can get a bounce off the hull into the bottom of the turret. And there's a shot, and that's going to hit Zevin. That's going to hit straight to the front, or right next to the gun mantlet, and that's going to be a penetration shot.
Nice shot there. He's not quite looking in the right spot. Rafa Beta doing a fantastic job of doing that. Tanking Dhaka is moving up using his T-32 slightly to the left of the rock. He backs off, deciding not to do it. Now, in the meantime, we did actually have Extreme keeping the heads down of 1390s on the hill. Independent gets spotted, actually, and I don't know if he realizes, but it's very difficult now to actually look down on the positions that you see Game Over. I'm going to go fly over to that real quick.
Sure.
This map has been altered. So what used to be a nice, smooth, side of the hill, this used to have a much sharper angle downward. You could get your gun down. Now it's kind of plateaued. It's much harder of a cut. So you can't actually get your gun down very easily at a 1390. You have to expose yourself a lot more to do that.
And Independent is right at that position. As you can see on the screen, and he cannot get into that downward gun depression angle, especially with a 1390 without overexposing himself. He does see the 5100s and Nip 10 and the 1390 being scouted. He may have a shot on Nip, but Nip could have a shot on him. No, firing coming down towards the east. Fire does happen against Nip. He takes 2 big shots, 584 to 1100. He's going to pull back.
That's got to hurt. This is what I was talking about. I feel like you can blitz the east side better. Because Pubstars also has hill control, they can abuse this because, oh wow, actually they're going to lose possibly hill control because Rafa Beta is going to push onto the hill with tanks in the east. Him, along with a T-32, they may be able to make this work, but Nip is going to have to run away and give up control of the cap in order for hill control to be taken back. It's a really dicey situation.
And tanks are putting some pressure on that flag cap. And Independent hides from the Pershing by Rafa Beta, and he's going to unload on that Pershing as Rafa tries to move in to halt that flag cap. Keeping Independent on the top of the mountain was very crucial to keep that Pershing away. However, after 3 shots landed to Rafa Beta, the other 3, I don't know if they can hit them. They're going to have to be some medium to high rolls here to finish it out. Independent at 811 out of 745. He's going to continue to dodge behind the rocks here. Rafa trying to get him as well. Independent lines up a shot, and it's a miss against Rafa. That is huge with that drum. That's big for a 1390.
And at the same time, oh, there is Zevin going down to the T-32. And in response, Nip will go down. Now Marsh is on the hunt for Gandorfo. Gandorfo is backing off, giving ground, but he is loaded. He puts a shot into Marsh. Marsh puts a shot to Gandorfo. They're trading. He is going to try and out-traverse him. Godorfo misses the shot. Hit one more shot. He'll connect with Marsh, but not quite kill him. One more will finish him off. And there, Marsh a little over-aggressive now. Tanking Daka is engaged with Rella. 1v1. Rella is loaded. Puts one shot into him. Second shot fizzles on track. And now Rella's reloading. Tanking Daka catches fire, but he's able to finish off Rella. Captain No Pants is now on target. And he will actually go down. Rafa Beta saving his battle buddies.
That Pershing still in the firefight of Independent, but he falls back, gets that shot, stays behind the rocks. Independent misses another hit, gets a big one against the Pershing, lands another hit, 21 HP. Pershing tries to fire against Independent, but brings him down to 30.
He kills him with fire.
Nice shot from the Pershing, brings him down to HP, and they're able to take it. Independent falls on top of the mines, and game over. Takes game number 2. The intensity was high. That last shot was amazing. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to analyze that fight and get ready for battle number 3. Stay tuned. You're watching the Gold League live right here for Wargaming.net. Don't go anywhere.
Remind you all of the tanks. They are the same as last time, so we're going to have a 110, 350 100s, and an IS-3 for the side of Game Over. For Pub Stars, they're going to have 250 100s, 2 IS-3s, and an AMX 1390. So mobility, in this case, going to the Pub Stars.
And that mobility is going to win out if they're able to get some good flanks. However, those railroad tracks do cut off the map halfway through. So I want to see some information. I want to see some innovation, which can spread some information on the tactics and the type of play in the first 5 minutes of the map between these two teams. That's what I'm looking forward to here.
Well, it doesn't look like the Pub Stars are really going to play, or sorry, I see Game Over is really going to play into the hands of this 1390. They're not going to be going really to the east at all. They've got no one even on like the 5-6 line. They've got Gigmaster kind of in the back here destroying stuff, but most of their heavies are chilling out in the very far west. We've seen this before. We've seen tanking. We've seen this strat actually. Who did we see this from in qualifiers? I saw this lineup in qualifiers. No, I don't know if it was. I don't remember. I really don't remember. But who was it? Anyway, this same setup. We've got like Rafa Beta and Tanking Daka looking down the southeast, reverse angled a little bit. Well, not Rafa Beta, but Tanking Daka is. Tanking Daka is there, but then looking to the one line is Extreme.
Rella is the first to take down a tank, takes down Roble. Marsh 166 way to the north on that 1390. There you can see his stats. Top performing tank, one of the top performing tanks here in the Gold League, and he's going to get closer and closer to the flag cap, not noticing any tanks yet, but one he could spot that T1 on the Alpha 4 section of the map, but not close enough to see him yet.
And Gigmaster is that tank, and he spots Marsh. He's in the bush. I feel like he might be sticking out ever so slightly. He might get spotted by the 1390. Marsh is making a little run. He knows he's spotted. He probably has figured out that there's a T1 Cunningham there and not something else, because if you're in a tier 8, you're not holding your fire when you see that 1390. You're going to waste him. And so with that, Gigmaster stays alive a little longer, but they don't have a T1 advantage. They've got a real disadvantage right now. Game over. They're not going to be able to put some crap pressure on. They're going to have to be very defensive. And, well, reasonably so. They're up 2-0.
They don't have to play aggressive. They can play for the draw for the next two maps, but Rookhill, you don't like that play. I understand it, but I advise against it because you want to play for the win, not for the happenstance draw. You want to be in control of the map. You don't want to let your opponent be in control. And you can also control the pace as well. But with that pacing, when you do slow it down, that can actually add more momentum to the opposite team compared to you being in that dominant position where you can set the pace. Marsh 166 in the 1390. He's been setting the pace for the entire eastern half of the map. He goes up the railroad tracks now, sees nothing. This is all huge information gathering happening for this 1390, showing where the tanks are not placed on the parts of the map, and therefore pinpointing where the rest of them are going to go.
Marsh peeks out, and I don't think he sees that.
Is Marsh once spotted?
Yeah, he's spotted. He's spotted.
Okay.
When he peeked out, you saw him kind of like flinch back. That's when he realized he was spotted. And there's no one there to really punish him. I'm hearing ducks all the time right now, but where are those ducks? Quack, quack, quack. Quack, quack, quack. I'm sitting here watching Gigmaster, and I realize it's just duck sounds all the time. Are these where the ducks are? Are they in this? That's a well. That's not what
Oh,
the
maybe
dots are.
somebody.
Maybe they're in this. This used to be a dog house. When you ran over that, it made a sound.
Really?
A dog used to yelp as he escaped, I assume.
Oh, I hope he would escape.
Yeah, I mean, right?
Well, I'm waiting to see who's going to pull the first trigger. I think it's going to be Pub Stars, as they're going to send all of their heavy tanks up that railroad line. That's going to cut this map in half. And if they go for the flag cap, they do have some of this area here, allowing them to get some initial cover, block a couple shots with that fence. But this is going to be, I think, a full-on push for the T1s to get over to this rebel site. And in this site, in this area, they have this complete cover to the right. They can have one of the heavy tanks be right in front of them, blocking the shots, and then get the flag cap.
Yeah. Now, Game Over's in a pretty solid position to counter that out, though. They've got a T1 that's going to spot that early on, and then they've got everyone to the rear. They've got Gandorfo in a pretty solid spot to respond. Everyone else is a little bit far to the west, but they can respond within time. They'll have time to get there before the 30 seconds are up needed to stop Cap. And, oh, Miserable is spotted in the T1. I'm wondering if we're going to see Gandorfo move to the east to try and get that shot. They want that T1 advantage, you know. They want to get rid of those T1s.
Yes.
And because they represent the Cap pressure. They represent the real Cap, the real chance for Pub Stars to bring this back and actually Cap for victory.
Rel and the IS-3, along with Independent, are going to be the battle buddies down this railroad track. This has to be a victory or a draw for Pub Stars. If they do draw this out, it will take us to a shootout. If they do win the next two battles, Game Over is one battle away from taking the series. And there we see Rella with his stats so far in the season, and or coming from Season 2 as well. And he is...
He's an exceptional tanker. He
he's
really
staying
is.
back.
He's
As
very good.
Rella and Independent.
Yeah. He
back
played
there.
a lot of T-69s I can think of in previous seasons. In this season, he's been in the IS-3, excuse me, a lot.
Who was bringing the IS-7s? That was
IS-3s.
Velatio.
Oh, the IS-6, you
The
mean?
IS-6, excuse me, yeah.
Yeah, that was
Velatio.
on Ensk, and I was getting that wrong for the longest time because I was thinking of the 112, I think, which fires heat, but the IS-6 fires APCR, and Velatio was thinking that he was a good enough tanker. Oh, actually, real quick, the Cap may begin in just a moment. Independent and Rella have been spotted around Cap. Nip 100 has found himself close to the Cap, and everyone is on the way. Tanking Daka, when did he take a hit? Oh, shots fired. Nip takes a hit. Marsh in response. Nip taking more damage. And there is the Cap. T1 streaming onto the Cap. And down goes Gigmaster. Shots being traded, and Nip is pinned in a keyhole position.
Daka took some shots when the red tanks from Pub Stars were crossing that center line. They had the range, they were able to get the hits, and now this is going to be an advantage for Pub Stars if they can hold on to the fight. But Taking Daka has taken some severe hits into the flag cap as Captain No Pants tries to keep Extreme in an extreme engagement as Marsh 166 pushes in. Nip 10 focuses on him, and that is going to be a fallen tank for the side of Pub Stars as Extreme is able to win out that battle. Marsh 166 blocked up to the north, and now Game Over trying to push in against the remaining tanks for Pub Stars. They need another reset here. They got it, and now Independent is taking some hits. However, Rella and his IS-3 gets the cross shot, and now Taking Daka pushes in. Rafa on the 110.
Oh, a high roll
Three
could
against
tank,
three.
taking Daka down, but he is barely able to slip behind Rafa Beta. Tanking Daka will live ever so slightly longer. Oh, and a nice shot from Rafa Beta doesn't finish well, but Tanking Daka is able to finish it. Independent is now left with... Where is...
Marsh 166 coming across the way in the 1390, right behind the IS-3 in the 110. He's going to focus on Rafa Beta. No, Independent focuses on the other tank along with Marsh 166. They coordinate their shots to get the kill. Marsh 166, one shot away from taking down the 110. Extreme in the 5100, however, could be completely reloaded. He pushes across, but Marsh 166 gets the shot. It's a 1390 that's able to clean it up, and Pub Stars is able to win the series, or excuse me, win the battle, taking the series 2-1.
Wow.
Marsh 166 in the
Hero mode,
1390.
man.
Superhero mode, jumping into the stats. He's the last tank left alive. 2,092 damage done. 10 for 11 shots. Well played, Marsh 166.
Yeah, he came in at the exact right time and preserved his tank. That's using your mobility properly. Marsh we didn't know. I didn't even see where he went off to because he did such a good job of escaping this fight. Now we see the fight here. Rella is doing what he can to deal with an IS-3. Right move there, but he's forced to use a shot because of just good blocking. He goes down, but he's able to get off one more shot. Now it's a 2v3, but health pools are a little bit in favor of Pubstars for the single tanks. Everything is about a 1 or 2 shot for this IS-3, but they do a great job focusing fire. They kill one tank. Unfortunately, the IS-3 goes down. But now Marsh has rear shots on a tank which is not trained on him. And the 110 is able to get away for a moment. But he predicts that 5100 coming in, gets the shot. A missed shot by the 110 means he is able to live and get the shot. Snakes it right through like 2 dead tanks. Really well played.
And a huge prop to Independent as well. Whoever made them, or whoever called the shot of who to target first, that killed one of the tanks, bringing it 2-2 instead of 3-2 or 3-1, which would have been devastating. That was a very crucial play to make, and I believe that was a tipping point for Marsh 166 to be able to clean it up afterwards.
It was also a smart move because the 110 with the really strongly angled Shuka was kind of pointed at the IS-3, so it was a chance he would bounce. So, and with that, you go for the tank that you have a more guaranteed shot on. It's when you choose who to focus. It's go for the easiest targets for both parties. The 1390 and the IS-3 had the easier shot on a wider out tank with sides to both of them. But the 110 was kind of a little more hidden. So, and that's a question actually you see a lot of people ask. Who do you go for? Who do you focus down in a fight? You know, because you have to decide 5100s, IS-3s, 110s. It's hard. And they made the right choice in the situation. You see how Marsh communicated very well with his team.
It is very difficult to make that type of decision, but it becomes easier with experience. And that's where Pubstars and Game Over may excel compared to some of the newer teams that have been added to the Gold League, either through the relegation matches or through the qualifiers. The 2 teams that made it through the qualifiers are the #RU and the...
No, #RU was put in through...
Well, relegation, or it was...
through qualifiers?
Through Silver. Yeah, it was them and the Spriglords. Spriglords won out against #RU.
Well, in there, but they... still get in, but
yes,
through the qualifiers,
top tier and Googly Bobbers.
That's exactly
That's right.
Yeah.
But even them, they're new teams. So you have 4 teams that have been added, and the 2 that made it through relegation were Cazadores.
Cazadores made it and won their relegation match,
and then Refused to Die.
Refused to Die won, and I think they may have. Did they fight Wreak Havoc? There were 4 relegation matches. That's a long time ago. Wow.
I know. Esports moves fast, guys, as you can imagine. Already in Season 3 here, first 2 seasons, huge successes. And we will announce where the finals are going to be and when very soon. Stay tuned for that. We're almost ready for battle number 4.
Crazy Ivan clutch.
It's going to be the Crazy Ivan rule again. And Ensk, it looks like the team spawning to the north side is going to be Pubstars.
So Game Over thinks that they deserve to win on that. And I can see why, but clutch skills from the 1390 may bring back.
Marsh 166, can he hold out again in this type of environment? We're going to find out. Game Over versus Pubstars, battle number 4 on Ensk.
And we're actually going to see a slightly altered lineup. Game Over opting to bring 2 110s and 3 5100s against 2 5100s and 3 IS-3. So Alpha is the name of the game for Pubstars. DPM is the name of the game for Game Over.
And consistent fire coming out from the Pubstars compared to the 6-shot drums of the 5100s with the burst damage. I really like the difference of style being brought from both these teams. Of course, it does come down to skill 90% of the time, but that 10% could be the difference of that consistent fire or the HP.
It's your build. You have to consider your build, and it will affect the way your brawl goes because of health pools, because of armor values, because of your alpha, your DPM, and everything. That all has its little effect. Of course, generally the better team does win, but there are times when your tank choice can really hurt you. And actually, beginning an engagement already, Zevin takes a hit down to 1122 in his 5100. Tanking Daka will take a hit in reply. Rella, though, is down to 1156. We've already got a fight on our hands, as here comes Marsh 166, and Independent onto the flank. They put 2 shots into Extreme. And we have a crazy brawl already split into 2 parts.
That is huge for softening that 5100. That's who they're going to try to target fire. Captain No Pants lines up that last shot as the IS-3s are able to plug a couple more hits into Extreme. Nip 10 and the 5100 again being target fire. The 110 trying to get in front of them. And Miserable firing from behind. does about 30 to 40 damage on Gandorfo. Zevin and his 5100 is falling away from the 110 of Rafa Beta, still trying to keep the consistent fire tanks alive, but he falls. Rafa Beta gets the hit from behind.
Will
Marsh
Nip go down to a
166.
Miserable? I think Miserable might be able to take down Nip, who's at 19 hit points, as it looks like Robal and Gigmaster are moving onto the cap. Now Marsh 166 is at 12 hit points, puts a shot into tanking Daka. Rafa Beta is engaging with Captain No Pants, who is still on reload there. Tanking Daka is able to take him down, and Nip is chasing down Miserable, but Zevin is coming in fast, looking for that 5100.
7 is low on HP, but high enough to stay in the line of Nip. The 110 is going to fall from the push up against that 110.
And now taking Daka has found Captain No Pants, and he will finish him off. There's also cap going on. Robal and Gigmaster are on the north cap. All alone is that single 5100
This
Zevin.
is really tough for the Pup Stars. 14 seconds left. 7 trying to get to the north to stop those T1s. They're going to be hidden behind that rubble. He's also going to get track shot by the 110. Fires into the side. Does not stop his track. 4 seconds left. Game over is going to close this out, folks, in a 3-1 victory over the Pup Stars. They won out the battle in that brawl mode, and that means they're going to win this series altogether. Very fast play coming from Game Over on that set. I really liked where the IS-3s were pushing up against those tanks around the corner, mainly the IS-3, or excuse me, mainly the 5100, but they pushed a little bit too far when Marsh was trying to go for that kill on that tank that had 17 HP.
Yeah.
He couldn't get it, and he fell.
Yeah. And just an all-over better response, I think, by Game Over in that brawl. They got tanks in the backfield and everything. And actually, as we take a look at the replay, we can detail for you exactly what happened. Now, Rella is in the middle, but he's kind of on an island, and he's easily focused down. That's a huge part of this fight. Now, we're playing corner games on the left side of the screen, but it's a 3v2. And so there's an advantage for Pub Stars. But they're only able to get one tank down. Now, the next tank does get into cover, but there's a fight happening in the courtyard, 1v1. The 5100 is not able to finish off the 110, and because of that, the 110 is going to be able to come in here in just a moment. About 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. He's going to be able to put a shot in the back of Independent, who is trying to preserve himself, but because there's no one to stop him, no one to block, there's a crucial kill, making this a 4v3. Not a fair fight. Tanks that are low are able to escape just barely. There's a 5100 that's going to chase down someone, but we have there another kill, another pickup. Now, it's just, now you got 5100s reloading because all the consistent fire tanks are dead. Game Over did a smart job of this. They understood who they needed to focus, and they dedicated to it. You kill the burst, or you kill the consistent fire. You don't half and half it because you're just going to find yourself in a bad situation.
That's right. That's right. Well, hats off to Game Over getting their first victory, but Pub Stars still put on a good fight. We're going to take a break. When we come back, match number 3, Spurg Lords versus Simple Tankers. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Gold League for World of Tanks. Stay tuned.